Hey, it's Joy. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. Are we happy that we are coming to a close on this week? I know I am. It's been extremely busy. So, as you all start to jump on, say hello. Let me know that you're here. Um, but I thought we would do something a little bit different. I have a rule of thumb that I only promote companies that I love and stand by. There's nothing in my craft room that I don't love. If I don't love it, it goes. And so we're going to show some products that I do love, some from Prickly Pear and some from other companies. Hi Sandy, hi Lisa, hi Nerdy Crafter, hi Amanda Stevens. And speaking of Amanda Stevens with Pear Blossom Press, we're going to do some crafting with her products as well as some stuff from the rabbit hole. Hi Sean Gerald, it's nice to see you. I just left you from downstairs, so hey. All right, so this is the holly and berries stamp set. It also has a die, and it is a solid die. And with that, you cut out all the pieces at once. So if you were to stamp these, I would recommend die cutting them first and using your cardstock as a jig inside of your MISTI and then stamping this. And the reason I chose this stamp set is because it's got some solid images. So you've got the solid parts with the berries. You also have some that you can color. So some of them have like notes in them, have some flourishes. And then you can finish off your projects with a cat, with a little Santa hat, or a partridge in a pear tree. So I've already colored and die cut everything so that we can speed this project up. So I have already attached an A2 panel onto an A2 card base just for time's sake. So one thing that I'm going to use are these halo lights from Pear Blossom Press. And what I love about this, you can see on the picture that they did a really cool aquarium. We're going to use it to light up our wreath tonight. So that's what our plan is for this evening. Speaking of which, I have colored the holly and the berries. And I have also die cut all of these holly leaves in solid green. And the reason I did that is because I don't want you to think that everything that I do, you've got to color. So, all of our stamp companies have multiple things that you can do with them. So I think it's up to all of us to show you how to use them. These are the bitty blender brushes from the Rabbit Hole Designs. I have two sets. One is for my Distress Oxides and one is for my dye inks, and that's just because the oxides have a pigment mix in them and I don't like to contaminate my dye inks. So we're going to use two of those. This is a pink one, but I use my reds and my pinks together, and this is obviously a green one. So when you do anything with card design, it's fine to use just colored cardstock. And here, I'm going to zoom in just a hair. It's fine just to have a green cardstock, but if you use any dye ink or any ink that you have, I'm using one from Simon Hurley. This is an ink that I go to quite often. This is Fake Plant, so it's already got, kind of a Christmas tree effect to it. So I'm using my bitty blenders, and the reason I'm using the bitty blenders, these are linked, and Amanda will also put the link in the description. So I just start off my piece of paper onto my glass mat and move in, so I get a really nice dimension. And so that works really nicely. And then as I need to, I can just kind of come in. So I'm concentrating this on the edges so that we get a little bit of a 3D effect. And you can add as much ink as you want. With this being a dye ink, they are layerable, they are translucent. So that means that you can keep adding layers and it gets darker. Sandy, you love the blending solution. I'm so glad to hear that. I almost decided to make my own background and use that again tonight, but I figured we would do something different. I have had this idea of using the halo lights for quite a while, and Christmas is almost upon us, so I figured we would go ahead and work on that. So Amanda just linked the brushes that I'm using. What I like about these is that they're woven kind of tight, but there's still enough movement that you get some play. It's just a really nice bristle. I know there are a lot of them out on the market. I have tried a few, and these are my favorite. I am kind of partial to the rabbit hole brushes. I use the big ones as well, the cottontail. But I thought I would show these now. Eventually, in the next month or so, I am going to carry these in the store. So I wanted you guys to see them. So if you've only picked up a few, you can do that now. I'm also linking the halo lights in the description box. That'll be live after this is over. But I think Amanda will also, as I start to use them, will post those as well. So again, if you don't like to color, this is the card for you. And I should have maybe inked up a few more of these off camera, but I think the whole point of our lives is that we build a sense of community, and we all get to know each other. I know that I've been in other groups and we've all become like the best of friends, and we jumped on it. So if you never buy a stamp from me, if you jump on my lives and you make a friend or you have a sense of community, that's all that matters to me. I mean, clearly I have a stamp company because I love what I do, and I know that a lot of you do, but ultimately the person on the other side of the computer is the most important to me, and that'll never change. So I want y'all to know that. So as an appreciation, because without you guys, supporting me in all the endeavors that I do, I try to give a discount of some sort to you guys that hop on live. So I have not shared this with anybody else, including my husband, who happens to be online right now. If you use the code Holly29, so it's all caps, Holly29, the Holly and Berry stamp set that we're using now. So if you're a cat lover, this is a stamp for you, because you get that cute little cat with the Santa hat. You'll get that for 25% off tonight. Now the die has already been marked down previously, so that die is $6.99, which in my opinion is a pretty low price as far as the industry standard. So I didn't discount that any further, but the Holly 29 will get you 25% off of the Holly and Berry stamp set now through tomorrow night at 11:59 Eastern. And anything else that you would like to pick up, I don't know if all of you know, but we just brought in a whole new bling line, and we are going to continue to add more to the store as our new releases come out. But I wanted to get a few new things in the store, and you're going to see a few more things come up as we get closer to the new year and beyond. So I'm using a baby wipe just to clean up that ink. That's what's nice about dye ink. It just wipes right up off of this glass board. I highly recommend a glass board for all things blending. Now I'm using the same, I'm just using a red cardstock from my stash. This is probably from Michael's. I'm not always a cardstock snob for, layering. Now I am for certain like coloring and stuff like that, but I'm just adding a little bit of red to the different berries. Now I did color some of those with Copics, and you all know my favorite blends of reds. There is, I don't know if the resource sheet is up yet, but it's a work in progress. So every time you come back, you might find more of my favorite combos. For my red, it's always the tried and true. It's the one that's on the list. It's the one that's always on my channel. So it's R24, 46, 29, and 59. And then I leave some white space in there as needed. I'm grabbing a few of these extra little berries that are just circles, and to be honest, I don't even know if I'm gonna get much of a blend on them. Let's see. And that's what I like about these. You can literally just dab. You can't ask for an easier technique. So no matter where you are in your art journey, in your card making journey, this is a card that you can do. Now, let's talk about the Pear Blossom Press lights. I think Sean Gerald is still on here, and he can attest. I can't do anything with a screwdriver or pliers. Okay, I can't use any tools unless it's like crafting related. If I can do these lights, you can do them. So this comes in a 2-pack. They also have it in a 6-pack. I do have some tweezers. Tweezers are going to be on the site shortly too. So this is how they come. You just kind of peel the extra pieces apart, and that's garbage. They come in a strip of batteries. So this particular light set comes with 6 because you've got 2 lights and they require 3. So you want to put the positive end up. So the flat side, the part that doesn't have any texture, that's your positive side, and they just slide in. You're not going to watch me fidget with those because I've already done it. And like I said, if you can slide a battery into a slot, you can do this. All right? So I'm going to put this behind me so I don't lose it. Now, how many of you know that I love dimension and I love texture? But you also know that foam tape, like, is not my friend in the sense that I can never get it straight. I've got something to share with you. This is the world's best foam tape from Pear Blossom Press. Amanda with Pear Blossom has literally come up with the best tape. This is repositionable up to 24 hours. So really for like the first half hour, you can like peel it up 100 times. Not 100 times, but multiple times. And then over a 24-hour period, it cures and it becomes permanent. So I tell you that because no other tape on the market that I'm aware of is repositionable for a foam tape. Let's see. How many feet comes in this? Do I know? So over 41 feet comes in this. So this is a great deal. You can use my affiliate link that's on. What did Sean say? I had to put them in for her. Yes, that's true. He did. 41 feet comes on this. The affiliate link is in the description. Nerdy Crafter will go ahead and put the Pear Blossom thing. I gave you my generic Pear Blossom affiliate just because I didn't want to link all the things. So once you get there, it's very easy to find. Her site is so easy to navigate. So here's the plan. We've already talked about, and I'm going to zoom out just a hair. I always say that and I go the wrong direction. All right. So I use the circle from my stash. I think I used a Gina Marie die. You can use whatever you have. This is not rocket science. So here's the light put together and it turns on. Do you guys see that? I don't know how to I'm not really sure how to get to my light. So after my husband put the lights into my craft room, you could land an airplane in this room with as much as it's lit up, and I love him for it, but you probably won't see the lights until later. So I'm going to kind of line this up to where I want it because I'm going to put the inside of this circle. Otherwise, we would have this big red hole in between our wreath, right? So this is going to lie kind of between the layers. So I chose a circle that was a hair smaller than the halo light. So I'm going to center this the best that I can. And again, this is the cupcake that we have in the store. This holds the Barely Art Glue, the 2 ounce and the 4 ounce bottles. And we also carry Barely Art Glue in the store if you haven't already tried it. So now that I've got that kind of centered, I'm going to make sure I have that lined up the correct way. This is the part that's going to make Marianne cringe because she's all about everything being straight and lined up. But in reality, you're really not going to see that circle. It's just to keep the red from being so glaring in her face. From here, I'm using score tape. I don't care what brand you have. Score tape, in my opinion, is score tape. I don't use it that often. In fact, I'm shocked that I even have it in my craft room because I use Barely Art Glue and a hot glue gun and foam tape for everything. So the 2 in the center. Okay, I'm hoping she sees this, Joyce, and take out those 2 single lights. These? Why? Marianne says I should remove these. All right. You're right. You're right, Marianne, as always. So now it's going to be this. So Amanda has given us 2 easy 1 lights with this. I tell you guys, I fly by the seat of my pants. And if I can do it...
Here's what I found.
That was Siri talking to me, girls. So we're going to put that there. And I'm just burnishing that down. And thank you, Marianne, for helping me out with that. What would I do without my posse? I'm telling you, you guys are the bomb. And I'm going to put one up top. All right. Now I'm going to put this down kind of centered around that circle. So the foam tape is double thick, so it matches the same thickness as your lights. So in the past, when you've had to make shaker cards or light up cards, you would have to take your tape and double it up. You don't have to do that with this. So I'm putting this down. And again, you don't have to worry too much about having it 100% lined up just because I'm doing this on the perimeter. If you had your light positioned somewhere else, then you would absolutely have to worry about the positioning, but you don't have to with the way I've got this design. Hey Jay Thomas, how are you doing? Long time no see. Not really. We talk kind of on the regular. So I'm putting that behind me. And so this is the other thing I like. Some of the foam tapes that are out on the market, you struggle with peeling. Do you see that? I'm not even struggling. I don't know if that's important to you, but it is to me. I like my crafting to be easy. Now, are you guys holding your breath to see if I get this straight? Now, any of you that watch me know that usually I use my Barely Art Glue and put a bead down the center so I have some wiggle room. We are just gonna go with it. And I'm trying to line that up the best I can. All right, I want to know, who wants to see if this pulls up? I am so confident that it will that I'm willing to make a fool of myself. Anybody? All right. Look at that. Do you see how easy that is? So it is repositionable. And now you guys can see the light. What do you think? All right. Now let's get into the prickly pear part of this. So normally when I make a wreath, I take 2 circles and I kind of make like a frame inside of itself so that I have an idea. But since I already have the circle here, I know kind of where I'm going. So we're just going to start fidgeting a little bit with this. I sometimes end up taking way too long, like making my floral arrangements. For the time of, or the purpose of time in this video, we're just going to go ahead and start putting it in there. Now, Amanda, let me know, do you still have your stamps that say press and all that stuff? I know that you had them at the Mesa show, but I'm not sure if you've gotten any in. Amanda has some really cool buttons, I'm tongue-tied, has some really cool, like, small little stamps that you could say press, touch, whatever, all those different words on there. Amanda, my Nerdy Crafter, I'm going to go with Nerdy Crafter. She is saying that I need some Goo Gone to remove score tape. I don't get into all that. I know that I've used it when I've been with Amanda and it's been amazing, but so I'm going to keep positioning these around. Marianne says the heat gun will also work. And I'm starting to, I know that this is, starting to look a little awry. And that's just because I'm trying to get my leaves to go all the way around. I might need to die cut some more, but I'm just going to pray that I don't have to die cut anymore. Now, if you don't have a holly branch, you could use pine needles. You could use any type of dies that you have. I mean, a wreath is a wreath, and you can add as much or as little as you want to it. I am just trying to give you guys a little bit of ideas if you're still doing your holiday crafting. So if somebody could just order my holly stamps and dies before you run out. Thank you, Amanda. That was so sweet. Let me know, are you crafting Christmas still? Are you doing Christmas tags? Have you moved on to Valentine's Day? What is everybody doing? I'm definitely doing, actually, I've kind of moved on to some Valentine's Day stuff. Not that my husband will ever see it. The poor man, I colored his card when I was in Arizona, or the front panel of it for his birthday. His birthday was last week, and I showed him a picture of it because I never finished the card. That is a true story. My husband gets more pictures of cards than he does actual cards. So another thing I like about Barely Art Glue, you see I've kind of moved stuff around, and you can, I don't know if you can see this, kind of like where it's still moist. That's going to dry absolutely clear and matte, and that's why I always tout Barely Art Glue. Because you don't see it if you make mistakes. Alright, so from here I am bringing in some of my, and I'm not going to glue them down, some of the ones that I colored. And I might have a few kind of going I don't know. We'll see. We're winging this, people. You know that there's never a plan other than I'm gonna make a wreath tonight, and that's as far as I go. Crafting is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be stressful. And quite honestly, with all the stuff that we've got going on in our lives, who needs something that's going to be stressful? I don't. I had enough stress today trying to get my releases in. And guys, let me tell you, the January release is the bomb. And I'm not saying that because they're my stamps. I'm saying I can't wait to color them. In fact, I've already colored them, but I can't share them because then it wouldn't be a surprise. Sandy Andrews is saying it takes her hours to figure out something and then she runs out of time. Sandy, you just need to fly by the seat of your pants. Stop planning everything. This is just supposed to be fun. But I hear you. I run out of time quite often, or I'm in a panic. Everybody on here that knows me well enough knows that that's absolutely the truth. All right, so what do you guys think about the way that looks so far? Amanda Stevens is saying that she's finishing Christmas cards for her dad to give to the local police departments. God bless you. And oh my husband's saying, shoo. He goes, it's starting to look like a wreath. At first I thought it was a Pizza Hut. Well, you know. All right, y'all. I eat pizza. I eat like a 16-year-old on crack sometimes. And I asked Santa Claus for a pizza oven. A very specific one. Do you hear that, Sean? Very specific one. And that's what I want for Christmas. And I want to have pizza outside in the snow, of course, on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. Well, Christmas Day, we tend to do like prime rib or something, but I want pizza for Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve is supposed to be easy. You're supposed to do the family thing or the church thing, whatever it is you do. We tend to go to church, but you know, if you're not a church person, be with family, celebrate how you celebrate. But yeah, we usually go to church and then we do something easy. Okay, Sean does something easy. I'm going to tell on myself. Sean is the cook of our family. If Sean was not alive in cooking, I would be dead. And that is the truth. He'll sometimes come home from work and he says, oh, what did you make for dinner? And I say, I don't know. What did you make? I'm waiting on you. I'm starving. And I didn't say I was a good wife. I'm just saying that he does the cooking. God bless him for that. Got glue or something on my fingernail and it keeps getting hung up. All right, let's see. So does anybody know why I use this plaid paper? Any idea? Sean Gerald, you are not funny. I better not be having sound issues. You haven't barged through the door and we haven't yelled at each other yet for you trying to help me. All right, so here we go. That's my wreath. It's looking a little star-like, so I swore that I wasn't going to stamp this little cat, but I might do that anyway. So here are some berries that I colored, and we're going to start adding those in. And so we're going to go back to what my live was last week, and we talked about dimension. So where these berries overlap, I put the darkest R59. I extended that with the 29, the 46, and the 24, and you're going to see I left a lot of white space. Now these are such small little clusters that if you can't get 4 colors in, you do you. I don't care if you get 1 color in. You're still going to have an amazing card the point is like, this is supposed to be our therapy. This is supposed to be our fun. And if we take all of this so stinking serious, then it's not going to be therapy for us, you know? I take my card making sometimes a little too serious. And I shouldn't, because at the end of the day, it's just paper and ink, and who cares? I mean, do you care? I don't care. You know, nobody that I've ever given a card to, if I actually send them out, has said, oh my, you don't have your shading in the right spot, or, oh, you're like, this isn't cool. Trust me, this is cool. And if you don't like it, then you're not going to get a card from me next year. Or you might not get a picture of a card next year, in Sean's case. And so these are the ones that I didn't color. And I'm just sort of tucking those just so that we have pops of red. Anybody that has been around me for any amount of time, you know that I love pops of red. So back to why I chose the plaid that I chose. I chose the plaid, first of all, because it's black. So anything I put on there is going to pop right off of it. So for me, card design is all about, one, having fun, two, you need a lot of contrast. So I used almost the same color green as I colored these holly leaves. But by adding the fake plant, which is by Simon Hurley, I was able to get a different tone, and that's why those are behind the ones that I colored. Does that make any sense? I'm thrilled to get Happy Mail. You know, Lisa, it's been a while since I've sent you a card. Usually you put your request in when I put up a card, and you haven't said, hey, Emma and I need this. But I suspect that I'll be getting a, hey, I need a card soon, because now that I'm saying it, you're going to feel obligated. Let me grab my little jewel picker here. And it's just easier to add these little dots of berries in. And guys, you know, we always talk about the rules of three and having like things perfectly spaced out in triangles to keep our eye moving. With a wreath, you all know, if you have them hanging up in your house right now, they're not symmetrical, and you just have a good time. One of my neighbors has one on every window, and I would love to have that on my windows one time in my house, because I've got like 4 windows going across the front of my house, and that would just tickle me pink to have that. I've never shared that with my husband, so he's not made that happen, so that's not his fault. Now, I am not loving this cluster of berries right here. It's literally driving me wacko. What are we going to do to fix that? Anybody have a clue? I used to give my nephew the crappy cards because I figured he didn't care. Then one birthday, he pulled out all the cards I'd ever made him, and I had no idea he saved them. Amanda Stevens, do you know that the best gift that I hope I don't cry. The best gift that my grandmother ever gave me, and I can't make this up. She was in hospice on my birthday, and she had the nurses bring her a piece of copy paper, and she wrote, "Happy birthday, I love you." And it was in terrible handwriting because, let's face it, she was at the end of her life, right? I still have this card to this day. It's in my file cabinet because I don't want anything to happen to it. And it means the world to me that she remembered me. Oh, I'm going to cry. That she remembered me when she was in her worst spot. So I get it that it means the world when your nephew pulls that kind of stuff out. I'm going to leave this berry off. So I am embarrassed to say this because I usually have multiples, but I have not unpacked everything from all of my trips. But at the Pear Blossom Press website, they have really great gel pens that always seem to work. So the key with the gel pen is that you kind of hover over the paper, you don't put pressure down. So I'm just going to start adding little dots here and maybe some stars. because it's Christmas time and things are allowed to be whimsical. And it just allows for your images to pop. We talked about that a lot last week. So for those of you that were on your aunt, yeah, Sean, you should come up here. You absolutely should come up here and color the berries for me. Come on up. I would love for you to come. This is my challenge to my husband. Get your lovely soul up here and let's color together. Did you all see the pictures on Prickley Pear Pals where we all colored on Thanksgiving? That was cool. We had the kids involved. Now, if you guys saw our son's picture, the penguin pals had been run over by a ghost rider. And so he made a gory Christmas card. I'm not into that, but when you're 20 something, that kind of speaks to you to do crazy stuff. I keep waiting for my craft room door to open. So do you guys like this? So here we had berries that had absolutely no coloring on it. Now, you know that that's not necessarily my style, but just by adding some white gel pen places, you're getting all kinds of sparkle in here. Now, who's ready for this? Can you see that? How freaking cool is that? Alright, I am going to get up and I'm going to turn off my overhead light so y'all can see this. Now I wish I had a remote, Sean. What do y'all think? That's a heck of a card. That's a fun card. And now my landing strip has now been turned back on. But holy cow, am I kidding? How I can't make this up. I mean, this is so stinking cool. So I have a stamp set. I think it's by May. And it's for scrapbooking. And it says push on it. So I covered up the push, like where the light is. And I think that most people would know eventually they would pick up the card and they would put their hand right there anyway. So I am not going to take another piece of cardstock and put that there, but you could, yeah, I am. I want y'all to see. Let me get a piece of red here. I probably could have found like a 1/4 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch strip that I could have cut, that I had in my trash somewhere, but instead of listening to me dig, we're gonna watch this. So that was Versifying Clear ink. It's one of my favorite inks for sentiments. And then it says push. Sorry, I've got the sniffles, guys. And I'm just going to block that off. You guys could use a banner. You could do whatever you want. And then going to put a bead of glue there. So I would rather have it say press instead of push. But when I was at the Mesa show with Amanda, her stamp set sold out like within a couple hours. So you'll have to check her website. But isn't this just stunning? Oh, did you miss the plaid answer? Yes, I chose the plaid. One, because I like plaid at Christmas. And I could have used a red. I could have used a green. Thanks, Sean, for reeling me back in. With the plaid, because it's black or gray, it's making these neon colors of the holly kind of pop. That's why I chose that. Now, we could absolutely like do Merry Christmas across this with a banner. And I said I wasn't going to do this, people, but we're doing it. Now, I will tell you that in this Holly Berry set, the cat does not have a die, unfortunately. So, you might get to see me fuzzy cut. You may not. So, I'm using my Misty. I have that waffle flower mat in there. And because this is a new stamp to me, I've not used the cat before, I am just rubbing that to get all of the manufacturing residue off. Did you guys know that I have 2 black cats? And that is why we are using the black cat tonight. This is our stamp pressing tool. It fits nicely in your hand. Slides nicely on your Misty. And look at him. Is he not the cutest thing ever? So who is here from Pear Blossom Press? My order is just spinning. It's Amanda Stevens. And her site is probably spinning because you all have stuff in the checkout. So refresh. Do all the things. Who wants to see the simple coloring of the hat, or are you guys done with watching me color reds? You like it. Thank you, Jay. All right. So the light is coming from all areas on this wreath, right? It's kind of coming from behind. So technically, everything on the edges would be lighter. We're not going to color it that way. Like I told you, whoever's going to yell at you about light source probably doesn't deserve to get a card. So I'm giving it a nice shadow where the tuft of the hat is. And along the inside. Have you guys noticed? I mean, I have done some really simple coloring lately because I'm trying to get the fundamentals of coloring down for you guys. Like, there have been so many questions now. If you're using Olo, if you're using Karen markers, which are water-based, or Zigs, or Tombow, you can still incorporate every technique I'm using. You're still putting in your Scary Dark, which would be the R59. Now, I am skipping the 4-6. For those of you who don't have all the colors, I want you to see that you can still get a really nice card or image with just 3 colors. And if you don't, say you only have 2, you can use your grays for shading as well. Now, here's my R24. Which is what I call my glowy color, or my highlight color. And that is how stinking cute he is. Now, I don't have any of my fuzzy cut friends here who does all this stuff for me. So you guys get to see me like fiddle, and I'm saying bad words under my breath. I don't fuzzy cut anything, you guys. I don't have it in me. That tells me how much I love you all. I cussy, like that, I cussy fuss. Cussy fuss, cussy, I don't know. Cussy cut, that's the word. I don't do this well. I have a friend that lives in my hometown who her kid when her son was in kindergarten said, "Mommy, you fussy, you cut so well. Can you cut this for me?" It was the cutest thing I've ever heard, but I'm not. I wish you were here to do this for me. So from what I understand with fuzzy cutting, the key is you're supposed to hold your dominant hand straight, and then you're supposed to turn the paper, and you can see I have no patience for this. We all have the things that we love, and we all have things that we hate. And fuzzy cutting, or cussy cutting in my vernacular, is one of them. Amanda cusses when she fuzzy cuts too. Okay. That makes me feel better. Thank you. Alright, so I'm not going to do all of this in here because, quite frankly, I don't have it in me. But look how stinking cute he is down here at the bottom. Sandy, the reason I'm fast at it is because I didn't do a very good job of it. I'm being honest. Alright, so I'm going to get out Amanda's tape again. And the reason I'm going to pop him up is I've got part of the wreath popped up, so I want that dimension. Now, you all see how my paper, like how my color blended into the back of my paper. That is very normal. In fact, I want to say a lot of times you're probably not doing it right unless you've got all your fibers wet. That is if you're doing alcohol markers. Now, I'm not much of a watercolorist, as you all know. I have them all, but I don't do it very often. And the fact that this is repositionable, when I get done with this live, I'm actually going to cut around that tail and make it look right. But I want you to kind of see what the finished card's going to look like. Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate that. So now he's down there. Isn't he cute as can be? He looks just like my little cat named Hurley. He's my loyal boy. Someday, if he's behaving, I'll bring him on camera so you guys can see him. So here we go. We're pushing. We're seeing all the things. Now, I would like to blend, or I would like to bling. So here's a little news drop. This is a mix that I'm going to have in the shop. It's going to come with black and gold, and that'll be in the shop soon. It's not right now. But I have to bling it all up. Because what I think Christmas is all about the bling. Pear Blossom Press, go grab you some tape. Go grab some lights. The Easy One light. I'm telling you, everybody can do it. So please go and visit Pear Blossom Press. And these wonderful brushes from the Rabbit Hole, please go grab those if you haven't already. And eventually they will be in the shop. So if you need more colors, then you can come see me. But ultimately, I want you to support my friends and the people who I love. You will never see anything on my channel or on my lives that I don't love. And that is the truth. I will never ask you, first of all, I would never ask you to buy anything. I want you to be here to learn. I want you to be here to make friends. But if you do decide to buy, I ask, consider using the companies I love, because I wouldn't recommend them to you if I didn't. And of course, I want you to go see Prickley Pear. Again, that's all caps Holly 29 for 25% off of the Holly stamp. And then the die is $6.99, which is well below the industry standard. So I have not discounted that any further tonight. So that's what I have. I think I'm going to add more bling because I feel like Christmas needs bling. Any questions? Any answers? Anybody want a mint? Isn't that's the saying from a movie? I'm aging myself right now. I can't remember even who said it, but that was a saying in a movie. And hopefully YouTube and Facebook don't ding me for using that line. I think it's old enough now that they probably won't ding me. Does anybody know what movie that was? So Sean, you're so funny. So Marianne sells the itty bitty blending brushes, 1 to a pack, and I believe the Cottontail are 2 to a pack, but she does not sell them in sets. I tend to buy 10 to 12 at a time so that I cover Roy G. Biv, the rainbow, and then black and brown. So I have one for my Distress inks. I have one for my dye inks, one for my Distress oxide inks. I have a set for my pigment inks. And then my larger brushes, which are the Cottontail blending brushes, I have 12 of those for dye inks, and I have 12 of those for the Distress oxides. So that is why you're seeing 1,000 brushes up here, and that's just because I love them. So, all right. There's my card, and as soon as I end the live, I'm going to come in and cut this out and clean up my fuzzy cutting a little bit, and then I will post this on the Prickly Pear Pals page. So here we go. I think this is all that I have for tonight. Again, Holly 29 is for the Holly and Berry stamp set. The die set is $6.99. Go see Amanda at Pear Blossom Press. Go see Marianne at the Rabbit Hole Designs if you want some itty bitty brushes. So to reiterate, these are the brushes. And if anybody's curious, these are the large brushes. They do not cut. Look how used mine are. They're very well loved. But these don't come with the clips. I bought those from somebody on Etsy. We have the Halo lights. Where is that? Well, you all saw it. We've got the Halo lights. We have an Easy Lights. I've got like 3 or 4 lights right here on my desk. I just have to get to it. So these are the Easy Lights. This one has 3 lights on it. So if you want 3 areas on your card to light up, one little tool will do that. You saw this light, which came with the halos, which is the Easy Light. So this is very simple. It's just a matter of putting the battery in. Okay. It just slides in and out. Slides back in, and it lights up. You can't ask for anything easier. Like, if I can do it, you can do it. Trust me. All right, folks, I'm going to go have some dinner and hang out with my husband. And have a good night. See you next week on Wednesday. Bye-bye.